Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. I'm Mike Anastasia. With me today, we have Nick.
Hello.
I'm Brandon.
Hi.
We're here to talk about Games Awards and games and things.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Don't get all excited. Nick's here.
Yeah, Nick's here, guys.
I'm
Get
alive.
excited. Nick's here. He's alive.
Despite everything, I'm still alive. But
You can sing that song from Portal.
I was gonna start singing.
Oh yeah, true.
Still Alive song actually.
Man, I'm excited to talk about. I have a lot of things. I have a lot of opinions about the Jeff Awards.
What?
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley Awards.
Yeah. I feel you there.
Oh man.
Surprisingly, I feel like everything that won its awards was valid, but the way the awards were handed out was not.
Do I agree with that? There was one that I half disagreed with.
Okay.
For the awards.
We'll talk about oh wait, it's probably a Forza.
No.
Oh.
Well, that I had no horse in that race. I definitely just blind voted on that one when I was voting for it.
I'm so sorry. You really shouldn't have. Spoiler alert. It's incredibly bad. It's the worst Forza game they've ever made.
But it was the sound design one that I disagreed with.
Okay.
The best.
We had issues with that one, with how that one was designed in the first place.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of weird ones that, like, I feel like the last two that were in that category were just in there to kind of flesh out the category.
Yeah, I agree.
Like a lot of the categories we had talked about, in kind of like the pre-discussion, like a lot of them really seem like, as they have done in the past, like let's cram as many Game of the Year nominees in these categories as we can.
And then we don't really show them.
Yeah.
Did you see the Iron Mouse won Best Creator?
I did.
I'm very happy for her.
So again, no horse in that race. I have no idea who Iron Mouse is.
She's very fun.
I do physically cringe now when I see most VTubers pop up. I'm so sorry. I just other than the couple, the one I used to watch Gura a little, a very little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'll see VTuber shit pop up on my TikTok, and I'm just I don't. It's not for me, so I'm not gonna say it's shit because it's just totally not for me.
She's very different from the normal VTubers thing. That what she does is she gets other people into VTubing by teaching them about it and how it works, because she actually has physical health problems that doesn't allow her to do things with real people. So she uses as much technology as she possibly can to interact with actual people with using her VTuber model. For instance, she went to the TwitchCon with real people, but she had her VTube model on a Segway, and she was going around with them and everything and whatnot. And she's gotten real people into making VTuber models themselves and trying it out and explaining why someone might use a model, be it for health reasons her or other reasons such as anonymity, where they just don't want anyone to know who they are, that sort of deal and everything. And she started out as an indie VTuber and then joined VShojo, and she's very fun.
Okay, no, that's like I said, that's completely fine. I wasn't gonna shit talk them or any other I don't know. It's just
I'm not sitting here defending or anything or being you need to enjoy this person. I just wanted to explain how they're a bit different from other VTubers. Because when you say VTuber, you kind of get a general vibe where it's okay, this person's gonna be high pitched voice, they're gonna be very cutesy, and that's not their thing. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, I got you. So that, all that stuff, the best content creators and the esports stuff, I was just I'm so just not into any of this, so I just kind of was boop 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 and just kind of just voted for whatever with that, because I'm what esports team?
That's how the Game Awards felt too, because they nominated a coach that didn't even do esports this year.
Well, they also nominated a team that's falling the fuck up.
They also nominated a game for best indie title that isn't an indie title.
Yeah. No, they definitely the Counter-Strike 2 being in best esports game was also a very powerful move.
Yeah, especially when literally 2 days ago, if you would have logged into Counter-Strike 2, you could have had your entire account stolen and be doxxed because of some kind of stupid fucking exploit that was in the game because Valve rushed the fucking game without even making an attempt.
Yeah.
Oh, joy.
No, yeah.
But you know what? It's a winner in our hearts.
Nope. I've played less and less Counter-Strike this year because of all this bullshit. Counter-Strike 2 is garbage.
Anyways, I mean, I guess I would say probably really two big things to talk about today.
Yeah.
First was Game Awards.
And Grand Theft Auto, is that what the other thing is?
No, I was going to say whatever the fuck Nick's been up to, but I feel like...
That's true.
A lot of it will just kind of come up as we talk about Game Awards. So
it'd be natural.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some things that I've done that aren't in the Game Awards because they snubbed it.
Yeah, I know. The thing that I think had best soundtrack of the entire year didn't show up here because it's an indie title. I'm very upset.
Oh, which is that?
Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Oh, wait. No, I'm mad because I completely forgot.
That game's incredible. You should definitely play it.
Okay, so I totally forgot that came out this year.
It's so good.
How is that not in best score in music?
Yeah, I know. You want to know what makes it even wilder? You know, all the people that were like doing things for like Jet Set Radio that like did like the fan radio for Jet Set Radio and made their own songs and everything and became like super popular, like Too Mellow.
Yeah,
they're in Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Every single one of them are.
Oh man, that hurts actually. That actually hurts, especially because I'm looking at best score in music right now, and I'm like, all right, cool, FF16, sure.
Tears I mean, Kingdom, FF16 does deserve it, especially for the circumstances. The person that directed it, the composer, because like my man was going through cancer treatment, and he's like, I'm gonna make a fucking banger real quick, though.
He's like, I'm gonna go out in a blaze. I will say Hi-Fi Rush being on there is very teeter-tottery because I'm like, is the score good? Yes. Did you guys make $1 million by Nine Inch Nails? No, that was Trent Reznor.
No, exactly. That's
you know what I mean? Like, that's not...
It's like, it is a good soundtrack, but that's like being like, man, FIFA 13 had some great new metal in there. That's great soundtrack.
You made a good Spotify playlist from the year 2010. Like, thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's actually annoying that you pointed that out.
Yeah.
And I'm still salty that Mario RPG didn't get a single thing on here.
Yeah, it should be in here.
Because that even if it was just to like placate, but like my god, the soundtrack in that remake is just phenomenal.
Oh, they didn't miss on a single track.
No, not at all.
I just finished that this past weekend. Like finished like I did like the fight with QLEX and like I'm going. The only thing I haven't done was like I haven't gone through all like the refights with the bosses. Okay. I'm stuck on the one with Davey the shark because it's like by yourself and it sucks ass.
I mean, you could cheats it kind of easy.
Yeah.
I just was like, hey Mario, you want to wear the lazy shell armor for this battle? That'd be great.
But yeah, no, the soundtrack for that, like everything, perfect.
Oh yeah.
How do you not? Because there's a couple of times where like I was flipping back and forth between the classic and the remastered soundtracks. I'm like, this is just A1. Like, how do you not?
Yeah, as much as I love the classic soundtrack, like I don't feel like there's any songs where I'm like, I wish I'd rather listen to the original.
No, God no.
And you haven't heard it yet, but just wait until you hear. Well, I mean, you might have heard it like on YouTube or something, but just wait until you hear the QLEX remix.
I did. I fought QLEX. I beat QLEX.
No, the second time.
Huh?
He's one of the rematch fights.
Oh fuck. Because just playing that fight for the first time, because not only did I get remastered Mario RPG music, I got remastered Final Fantasy IV music.
You did.
And if you guys remember correctly, FF4 is like my fucking jam. So like I heard the remix boss music from FF4 and I was like, fuck yes. And then like I was reading, because in the fight with QLEX, like you can read what he's saying to you. And he's talking about like, oh, you know, I don't understand this power you have of the third dimension. Maybe I'll have it one day. And I'm like, don't fucking tease me with a possible FF4 remaster, because I will buy it. If the same team that makes Mario RPG remasters like FF4 or like even Chrono Trigger at this point in the same vein that they did this, I'm buying it.
Oh
like,
yeah,
no ifs, ands, or buts.
This is Mario RPG is probably one of the best remakes I think I've ever played. It's so true to the original.
Unfortunate for Dead Space that this came out this year because up until that point I was like, Dead Space remake's the best remake this year. Yeah. And then like obviously Prime Remastered came out and I was like, you gotta run for your money. And then they were like, what if we just remastered one of Nick's top 10 games of all time? And I'm like, fuck.
And not fuck it up like Chrono Cross.
Yeah, not fuck it up.
Yeah. No, this team just did an excellent job. And no, you're gonna love when you get through the rest of those remasters. I honestly, they surprised me because I've played through Mario RPG so many times, and just to see kind of like what they ended up doing at those like re-boss battles, I was like, oh nope, this is a lot different than I remember, and I actually have to like be worried because you can totally fuck it up.
Oh yeah, Booster ran my shit like twice because of the fucking train. I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, come on, man.
And it's funny too because Booster's usually a fight I don't have like in the normal game because I usually win that game so you don't have to fight him. And I'm like, oh yeah, forgot about you.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, excellent game.
Yeah, definitely an excellent game. I got to see my boy Gino in HD. So I was like, hell yeah.
Maybe he'll get in Smash next time.
No, that ship is.
That ship's gone, my dude.
I don't know. I'm still. You probably didn't hear it, but like my running theory is that they remastered this game so they could actually make like a real sequel. That's my.
First of all, that man. Oh, because I think there was. I saw an article somewhere. I didn't like read it. I just kind of glanced at the title of it, and I thought there was like a plan to make a second one, and it kind of fell apart. And then that's how we got Paper Mario.
So originally, what happened? So I guess like rewind things. So obviously, the original came out on the Super Nintendo, and it did pretty well. And Square was like, "Hey, let's work on another one." And so they started it, and then it kind of fell apart because of the whole like Nintendo went to the Nintendo 64, like that history where Square's like, no, our future's in CDs. We can't be on this, outdated crap anymore.
Yeah.
So they went a different direction. Nintendo's like, well, we still kind of want a Mario RPG. So that's how kind of like Paper Mario kind of evolved from that.
Yeah.
But there's, another thing that's kind of been around lately is, some old interviews have kind of popped up with the director for Mario RPG, where he's like, honestly, the last game I'd like to do before I retire would be like Mario RPG 2 and just kind of like return to that. And I guess he talked about how he didn't realize how Mallow and Gino were so popular and, that kind of stuff. And then, simultaneously you have like this remake and remaster thing going on. And it's kind of like, well, maybe, and also too, Alpha Dream's closed. So Nintendo doesn't really have any active Mario RPG studios anymore.
Yeah.
So kind of think like maybe they're just like, well, let's test the waters, see how this does. And if it does well, maybe we'll just kind of let that roll into like a new Mario RPG series. So that's where my thinking is.
Yeah,
whether or not
that
what
makes
actually
sense.
is happening. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see that.
Mm-hmm. Anyways. Yeah, no, you gotta get through the rest of those boss fights because they're great.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, Game Awards back there.
Yes.
Where do we want to start with that?
I have a list of like some of the 10 surprises or whatever, some 10 moments or whatever.
Okay.
So I guess we could like look over those, see what you thought. First of all, I played this game like last year, so I'll go ahead and mention this one. The finals was announced and then immediately released.
Huh.
Yes.
Have you played this yet?
I have not.
Okay.
Only because like truthfully Battle Royales kind of fell off a little bit for me, only because like as much as I loved Apex, it was just kind of on a downward spiral for the last couple of seasons, more than a couple of seasons, if that.
I don't disagree.
And
I do think this is like, well, I would say was something special. Anyway, go on.
So I didn't check it out, like I said, mostly because like every other battle royale that I've like play tested, rather like the betas, like there was that one that Ubisoft made. I don't remember what the fuck it was called at this point. The one that was like the map was kind of like falling apart.
Oh yeah, that one that died in like 6 months. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that one. think there was a few others that were in there that like I tried out and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So like I'm kind of like off that whole thing. So like I never tried this out. So I
Mm-hmm.
figured if it was good, I would have heard from you specifically, like, hey, you should play this.
Yeah, it's good, or it was good. What I've heard is that they slowed down the movement speed, which is what really made it good. See, it was kind of similar to something like a Quake like game, but also the fact that you need to capture a specific point. So it's not really a battle royale per se, although it kind of is. You have four teams of, I believe, three or four. I don't remember how many it is exactly or what they decided on for the ending. But you have four of them, and there is a safe somewhere in the game, and you have to find the place where it's located, and you have to
Okay.
hack it and steal the money. While you're hacking the thing, you can do things as such as like build defenses around it, so people will have to like blow up the defenses that you've set up essentially, and you just shoot them like the gun, that sort of thing. You blow up the walls, that all that good jazz, and get in, get the money, and then take it back to your team's like receptacle where you deposit it, that sort of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit different from your normal battle royales in quite a few different ways. The destruction is second to none. It's actually crazy. Like someone can be inside of a building and you can just fucking blow up the wall entirely and just come bursting in like the Kool-Aid Man and kill them all. It's really fun. But what I'm hearing and seeing is since it's officially released now that all the speed and everything got slowed down to be more in
Mm.
line with battle royales instead of like, actual first person shooters. And that kind of really turns me off from it. I have not tried it since it's released, but when I played it before release, like 6 or 8 months ago, it was really good. Like
Yeah.
really good. And it seems like the general consensus is, damn, this game was really good in beta. What the fuck did you do? But it looks like it's kind of cleaned up now, and people are like, yeah, it's pretty good, but it doesn't have the same feeling as the beta. So if you played the beta, you're kind of like going to be like, ah, this isn't as good. But if you haven't played the beta, you'll probably get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So
Okay.
I'm gonna try this out later, but like I've got a lot of stuff to play right now. So there's that. Moving on from that, Christopher Judge, he made he made uh he made the Call of Duty people pretty angry, which is really funny. The Christopher Judge was talking about how long his speech was last year, and he's like, my speech was 7 minutes and 49 seconds. Interesting fact, my speech is actually longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign. Which was
So I have feelings about so funny as shit, right?
hmm
I even like I love a good joke like that because it was
hmm
funny. I do, however, I do feel a little bit bad because I don't, and you might be able to correct me on this if I'm wrong.
hmm
I don't totally feel like it was the actual developers, like it was Activision's fault, and like who's ever in charge of all of that shit, like the people actually making the game.
uh-huh.
I'm like, I don't think they're at fault for that. They're just kind of, it's their
So
job.
so here's the question, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you seen anything about MW3's
Oh yeah,
campaign?
I know it's MW3 is basically just MW2 with some DLC on disc. It's the same exact game.
Oh no.
It's
The
like
campaign's way worse.
the
It's way
campaign
worse
is
than that.
basically like a DLC where like it's reusing a lot of the same maps and it's more of like a from what I heard, it was described more like a firefight mode, which basically just use like the multiplayer maps and it just had like objectives to do. Like it
It's
wasn't
an
like a
open world campaign where nothing really matters, and they just kind of throw cutscenes in it all haphazardly.
okay,
And the campaign portion that's open world is literally you just playing on the battle royale map.
cool, very good.
It's not good at all, in any way, shape, or form. This was very quickly thrown together to go along and was probably added to give more content to the game because of the fact that there was no content in this to begin with. I do think the multiplayer is actually very, very good. Like the multiplayer in MW3 is very, very good, very
Uh-huh.
fun. It is what I would want from a Call of Duty multiplayer. And I even, in some cases, think it's better than MW2. The zombies is surprisingly really fun and interesting. They
Okay.
did basically the same thing as the campaign, where zombies takes place on an open world battle royale map, but it's a very fresh take on zombies because of it being open world, and it's very interesting because of that. But like the campaign's just dog shit, absolute dog shit. I couldn't even bring myself to finish it because of just how fucking boring it was. Even though it's only like 3 hours long, I was just like, this is not even worth my 3 hours. So yeah, there's that.
Okay.
The next one is for Mike.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and perk your ears up. We have a survival game coming out that takes place in Jurassic Park.
Oh, I saw that trailer.
I'm actually all over that too, to be completely honest with you. I want to see more of it because obviously it was just like a,
Yeah, like a proof of concept kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I would say like the trailer itself left me optimistic, but I agree with Nick. Like there's too many unknowns. I also, the other thing that kind of like has me worried too was that the trailer was just kind of like they literally were like every second they're like, oh, here's a little more nostalgia just to sprinkle it in, and it's like, are you guys doing things that are fun, or are you doing things that are just trying to like hit nostalgia? Because I'm like, I'd really like you to hit both well, but if you're gonna go for one or the other, I really hope you go for gameplay first.
Yeah.
So. But
right, so
it looks good. Promising.
This is made by Saber Interactive. So let me give you a little backstory on Saber Interactive. First of all, I don't think they're bad. I think they're pretty decent developers. They made a very surprising hit with World War Z, which is probably one of the best Left 4 Dead-like games in existence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really enjoyable, lots of fun, and it takes place in the world of the World War Z. They also made a thing that I think is kind of more what this game is going to be leaning towards. You were mentioning the nostalgia factor. They made Evil Dead the game, which is super nostalgic for anyone that's seen the movie Evil Dead or the TV show Evil Dead, or anything like that. And I actually think that game was pretty decent as well for 4v monsters kind of game. It was really fun. These people seem to heavily lean into things that are nostalgic and do the actual content of said games correctly, but in the space of whatever kind of game they're making. And so they'll be confined to the survival genre, which is what it seems like this game is going to be, especially since it has the term survival in the name. But I do think that they'll do at least the source material well, because they do pretty good when it comes to
do.
I kind of, as I said that, I knew one of you were going to say something, not both of you, but that's fine. Yeah, I think this is going to be good. So I am also optimistic. I want to see more. I want to see actual gameplay, but I don't think this is in bad hands. I think Saber Interactive is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I'd say, definitely cautiously optimistic. So, and there's a lot that could go right there, and there's also a lot that could go wrong. Like if this protagonist just gets up like, I don't know, like a BFG and starts running around like blasting dinosaurs.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Like, no.
To be fair though, I wouldn't mind hitting a T-Rex with just a nuclear missile. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, at the end of the book, they nuke the island. So, and at the end of
that just makes Godzilla's though. You shouldn't do that.
That's true.
So it's possible. Also, kind of just, I don't know, just random thought too is, it reminded me a lot of like the Telltale game as well, and kind of was just like, I wonder if they'll, because the question of that game. How do I put this? There's questions about the Telltale game about where it fits in terms of canon, because sometimes it's regarded as canon, sometimes it's unknown. So it's like, will they pull any of the stuff out of there as well? Because they could do some neat stuff with those locations that they have in there too. Kind of incorporate them into it. Or are they going to stay more with the movie stuff? So I don't know. Like I said, I think it looks good. So I'm cautiously optimistic. They didn't give a release date for it though, right?
No, absolutely not.
No. Okay.
That was kind of the go-to with most things shown here, to be honest. No real release dates.
Nothing. I know. Yeah.
So the next thing on this list, which I am going to mention, I don't know how Nick is going to feel about this. He may find it cringy. He may have thought it was fun.
Is it the Alan Wake performance?
It is absolutely the Alan Wake musical.
I immediately, all of my friends in the chat who have in my Discord chat who have played or watched somebody play Alan Wake. They're all hype as shit.
Yeah.
And you ever see that meme of Joe Pesci he's like, "What the fuck is this piece of shit?" That was me. I was like, "What is going on?
So
What is happening?"
let me just tell you, that was canon to the game, and then I'll
Okay.
leave it at that.
But okay, so my my issue is I know there was a lot because a lot of people played Alan Wake too.
Yes.
And I know there's a good amount of people who are like, this is cool, but like I cannot imagine that it wasn't at least 50-50 of people being like, what the fuck? Because just the sheer amount of people who have either played or not played that game.
Yep.
And like my friends were yelling at me because I was like, what is this? What the fuck is going on? I see the fucking director, the creator of Alan Wake, like spinning around on stage singing. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean?
All right, so let me just go ahead and say this. Sam Lake getting this into his creation is very endearing to me. I don't find it as like what the fuck as much as it is like I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he can have this much fun with what he created. That sort of thing. That was my takeaway from him getting up there and doing that. But also the old gods of Asgard. If you played the original Alan Wake, there were 3 old men who were known as the old gods of Asgard, and they had a band, and they were a huge portion of the original Alan Wake, and they played a very big role in the game. And they also play a big role in Alan Wake 2, and this dance number is actually from Alan Wake 2. I won't tell you why it happens or anything like that, but this is actually in the game. So this is canon. This is legitimately canon. So seeing it done with real people was kind of really funny and really enjoyable. And then also seeing the creator that wrote the story that did this dance number in the really weird way that he did in the actual game come up on stage and do it along with them is even better, because also the person that is playing Alan Wake in the dance number is Alan Wake from the game. So it was literally everyone from the game just having a lot of fun. And I thought that was really nice. I thought that was great. I really enjoyed this bit, honestly. I thought it was very funny and really enjoyable. And if you're like a super fan of like the Alan Wake games and like Remedy in general, I do feel like this was a really endearing and really cool moment. Personally, I don't know why it's on this list of 10 moments from the Game Awards, but you know what? Fine, I'll take it. I understand why, if you haven't been following things as much, it seems more like what the fuck is this shit, like you explained. I definitely understand where the 50-50 came from, but I kind of saw it as like a celebration because these guys have been trying to make Alan Wake 2 for 13 years. They put that like the actual 13 years of them trying to make the game, they put into Alan Wake 2 and made that canon as well. And doing all that, coming as far as they came, and then making a fucking incredible game after 13 years of being away from the franchise, and building on this game in their other games, and then kind of slowly revealing it in Alan Wake 2 is incredible. Because, like, in case you didn't already know, I don't know, I mentioned before, and I believe you were here when I mentioned this, Control is a fucking amazing game.
Yeah, I know you loved that game last year.
Control is a sequel to Alan Wake.
Okay, very good.
It's literally in the same universe, and that is, like, kind of hinted at in Control, and then there's a DLC that just straight up confirms it. And then Alan Wake 2 is like, yeah, that wasn't a one-off. Let's literally show you every single game from Remedy is connected since Alan Wake. So, like, it was all kind of super meta, but so is Alan Wake 2, and so was this dance number, and I kind of loved it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get the hype for people who are like big fans of the series and like that whole, and like not even just like Alan Wake, but like you said, all the Remedy games in general.
Mm-hmm.
Just from my perspective of somebody with zero context, I was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
I feel like once you play Alan Wake 2, you'll be like, all right, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like once you understand the context, you're going to be like, okay, I get it. So once you've played Alan Wake 2, come back to me, and then I just want to see what your response is.
Okay.
Next moment was Final Fantasy 16. First DLC was announced and then released immediately.
Yep.
So this was pretty cool. Yeah, we hadn't had any news announced for Final Fantasy 16's first DLC trailer, and then the Game Awards was like, "But what if we just told you and then let you play it?"
I personally shocked that 16's getting DLC. Only because I know after 15 came out, like they announced all these DLC plans, and then like about like 2-3 months into it, they were like, actually, no, we're not doing any of that.
I'm also shocked because from what I remember, the developer of 16 was like, "Yeah, that game's a failure."
Well, that's because Square Enix is weird.
Yeah.
And, like, they consider games that like sell like fucking gangbusters are commercial failures. Like
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, like Tomb Raider was like one of the best selling games the year it came out. They're like, man, I wish that did better. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So I get that, but apparently this did worse than Final Fantasy 15 did. And Final Fantasy 15 is one of their worst
in Japan or here or just worldwide.
Worldwide.
Okay.
So some people believe it's because it's confined to the PlayStation 5. Other people believe that it's because it was released during a time where everything was releasing, and this year has just been so fucking stacked. And then other people believe it's because it's not turn-based combat.
I'm gonna say definitely not because of the turn-based combat, because people ate up FF7 Remake.
It's true, but I will say FF7 Remake does have some elements of turn-based combat still in existence.
I'm gonna throw my own opinion in there, and I'm gonna say it's because of the Japanese audience not being really on board with the European style of high fantasy that they went with for this. Because that's you know they definitely made this game for more of I don't want to say like an American audience, like yes, Western audience, but like it's definitely more in the wheelhouse of like North America / Europe. Whereas in the past, it's been more like Japanese, I guess, focused, like at least in its story and its locations and whatnot. Like it hasn't been like this. I mean, 15 kind of was like a weird place. But I would say it's mostly just because of the tone shift of the whole series. But
yeah, apparently Square Enix's stocks fell 30% after the release of Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, I mean, there's also other reasons for that too. I will say, after playing, like I played the demo that was like, oh, you can play the first whatever. The demo did not do a lot. I mean, it's a game that I already knew I was going to buy. It did not do a lot to sell me.
The demo instantly sold me, and then I'm really sad what came after.
The demo sold me up until the point where you're doing the last fight. I don't know if you had this issue, but the PS5 could barely handle that fight. I was dropping frames
and everything
so hard. Oh, it was so bad, like performance wise. I was like, oh, it's okay. It's a demo. It's not the final product. And then I played the actual game, and I was like, oh no, it's still bad.
It's still here.
It's still here. I was like, all right, cool.
So I did play in performance mode.
I think I switched to performance mode after that.
Not happened. Fidelity, because fidelity was really bad. I tried it first in fidelity, and I was like, we're gonna swap to performance mode before we even finish this. And then it was a more enjoyable game when we did that. But yeah. Okay, next we had God of War Ragnarok free DLC, which was announced. This just makes me think of Returnal. What do you think?
So God of War Ragnarok was actually, because that came out last year, right?
Yes.
Never played it last year, and I tried getting into it this year. It's just not hitting with me. I don't like it.
I kind of feel the same.
I think there's I don't know how to properly word this right without making it sound like I'm crying about the bimbofication of Kratos. But like somebody who played the original series and appreciaed it and loved that, and like even
so
the
disconnected.
Even the 2016 remake was like really, really good. I feel like this one has been extremely handholdy, has been extremely like I like Atreus is annoying as fuck. He just keeps talking and like, oh, Dad, do this or do that or do. I'm like, how about no, Scott? Like, I don't want I don't like that it's that entirely handholdy, and like it's not even like I don't know if they changed the combat that much. I don't remember. It just does not feel as fun to play, and
I agree a lot, but
I
also
just don't care about any
yeah,
of it.
no, I actually agree a lot with what you're saying. I couldn't bring myself to finish Ragnarok, and I don't even think it was on
I'll
my list for games from
I'll
last
tell
year.
you how far I got into it. You know the one I think I went to like the second, maybe third fucking world, whatever the fuck they're called.
Oh yeah, I was way further than that. I'm probably
Uh
like near the end, but I
it's
just
the one
didn't
where you
care.
walk into the house and the guy's playing like the little guitar.
Oh
And I
yeah.
walked in there and like nothing was like literally nothing was happening. Like I was trying to talk to him, I
Yeah.
was trying to do I was like, all right, this is stupid. I just turned it off.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments like that. It's actually like so God of War Ragnarok feels like we should be playing Uncharted
It
instead because of
it
the way the pacing is,
what's frustrating to me is that it
or
suffers.
any other third person action adventure game made by
Yeah,
Sony. It has the same
it
fucking problem as all of them.
it suffers from that same Sony thing that every other they still for whatever reason try to make, and it doesn't make sense in this context, but they make these Oscar baitish games, right? Like
They
they
really do.
they want
Yeah.
to
Yep.
make games that are going to be like award winners, and they want to like make people sad, make people feel. I'm like, I
hmm
get that. There's ways you can do that without being a movie, though, right?
hmm
Like
hmm
you can still make it a really fun game.
Yeah.
And I feel like it happened with Ragnarok. It happened with Last of Us 2.
Oh God.
Um,
Ugh.
I'm trying to think of what other games that came. I will say Spider-Man 2 to a point as well, where
Yeah,
there's
I've
there's
heard that.
there's more of a precedence over the actual story and trying to like make things happen
hmm
versus just actually enjoying a game.
Yeah.
And for Spider-Man 2, I will say it's not as egregious because that game is still very much like if you liked Spider-Man 1, you will like Spider-Man 2. There's just
hmm
way too much fucking shit going on, like way too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. Is like Ragnarok feels like every other game that like every other first-party Sony game that they've put out for probably the better part of a decade.
I would say the only game that I think Sony has put out that's first party, I guess now, that I think doesn't feel like any other game is Returnal. It like
Oh,
completely
well,
breaks the mold. That game's fucking
uh,
incredible.
listen, I still whenever I have a friend who's like, I'm getting a PS5. What's the first game I should get? I was like, you little fuck.
Returnal.
I pick him up. I pick him up by the collar. I was like, listen here, you little fucking nerd. I was like, you're gonna go down the store and you're gonna ask them for one Returnal, and you don't leave until you buy that.
And you do not Returnal it.
And you play that, and I know you're gonna die. You're gonna die a lot, but you're gonna
Mhm.
have fucking fun with it. Also, get a nice pair of headphones, plug them into the controller. You will thank me.
Yeah. That is the best game that's been released on PS5.
Oh,
Like
still bar
bar
none.
none. Easy.
Yeah,
Easily.
easy.
And you know what the second best game is?
For PS,
Fucking
like
Ratchet.
for only PS5,
For only PS5.
yeah, Ratchet and Clank,
Ratchet and
yeah,
Clank. Easily.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. 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 We're on the same fucking
No
wavelength
contest.
right here. It's like
No
PS5 has
contest.
like these bangers that everyone's super excited for, and I'm just like, yeah, but
No.
Returnal.
No.
Yeah, but Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
even to like an extent I would probably say like Astro's Playroom is also fucking awesome.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
really good. And
That's fair.
I'm trying to think of one other. Fuck. You know what I really like but no one likes that's
What?
on PS5, and I haven't talked to you about it, but I really like Gran Turismo 7.
You know what's funny?
Huh.
With my background, I can never get in the Gran Turismos. I can't clock in 8 hours at my job and go home and be like, oh boy, time to tinker with cars, baby. Like I just can't. I can't do it. That's like
I
fucking,
like Gran Turismo 7 so much I want to buy a racing wheel.
it's like Mike coming home and playing Twin Peaks Hospital for like the next 4 or 5 hours. It's
Yeah,
like, it's
why
the
not?
same shit.
Or like
But we already
like
talked about Alan
Sunset.
Wake.
Yeah.
All right, another one on this list is Baldur's Gate 3 was announced to be now available on Xbox, which they didn't get to announce
No, because they got
because
played off.
they got played off stage.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
So, oh, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and rip this Band-Aid off. Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year, easy.
Oh yeah, it did.
Sweep that shit. But they were supposed to announce on the stage that Baldur's Gate 3 is now released for Xbox Series X and S, and you can go buy it right now. But they got pretty much played off the stage, which was a very common theme with that night. There were so many good developers that got brought up on stage that didn't get to talk, but if you were from Hollywood, holy shit, you got to talk for like 10, 15 minutes.
As much as I shit on like Tears of the Kingdom, right? I'm not gonna sit here and be like Anuma's not a living legend in the gaming world. Like I'm not gonna like I can't. There is no disputing that, right? Like he's made one of the most popular franchises in existence.
Bro, a guy with a broken leg got to talk for longer than people that won game awards.
Like fucking Larian Studio comes up accepting their game of the year for Baldur's Gate 3. And like they're talking about their coworker, their friend who died while making it, and then the music starts, right?
Yeah, like get off the stage music.
Meanwhile, we got 7 minutes of Jordan Peele and Hideo Kojima just jerking each other off.
Yeah, listen, hold up, we gotta talk about that. That's the next thing we're talking about.
We'll talk. I'm just saying, the overall thing for the Game Awards with Jeff, right? He's like, hey, it's here to celebrate games, and like.
It doesn't celebrate games.
It does not celebrate games because that's the time where you want to hear from developers, you want to hear from like, hey, we're thanking, and like I get it. You don't want another judge moment from last year. I get it. Yeah. But like
I like that that he poked fun at himself and he was like a good sport about it. I'm very happy that guy was like super chill about the whole thing.
But I'm like, maybe we don't need to like advertise as much and we can actually like talk like have more and I get there needs to be a balance, right? Because if there was no trailers, if there was nothing announced, nobody's watching it.
Nobody's watching it and nobody's funding it. That's the other side.
Nobody's funding it. Yeah.
Like obviously like those trailers are somewhat of a necessary evil. It's it's like they have to do it to get money to like make the production. But you're right. You don't have to like fillet Kojima for like 7 minutes.
But did we need a B-roll trailer of all the new modes that just came out in Fortnite because they're already out and people are already playing?
They weren't already out. Just saying. I will say that.
I think didn't like the Rock Band one come out like a day or two later. Like
the Rock Band one came out 2 days later, and the Lego had just released. Like the servers had just gone up when the Game Awards had started.
There was nobody watching the Game Awards being like, oh, Fortnite's got a Lego. Everybody knows. Like, if you play Fortnite, it's got it's got a Lego mode. If you're on the internet, it's got a Lego mode. Like, there's not a person in existence who is so in tune with gaming that they're watching a video game award show that they didn't even know that Fortnite did these things. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's so silly.
That's fair, but I would like to say. And I quote, some of my friends who aren't Fortnite fans but do like games did see that there was a Fortnite mode that has to do with Lego during the Game Awards and asked me, what's that? And then they came back to Fortnite to play the Lego mode. So I do think it did its job. I do think it was a valid thing to have there. Because it kind of got the people that had fallen out. Like you were talking about, the trailers are a necessary evil. They're marketing for things. I think the marketing worked for that. I've had people playing Fortnite that haven't played in years because they saw the trailer for the Lego mode and were curious about what was going on. Because they had fallen off of the game and they didn't really care about it anymore. But they asked me, like, what the fuck's going on? I was like, oh, dude, I gotta tell you about this. This shit's good. Because, spoiler alert, the Lego mode for Fortnite is fucking incredible. It is so good. And I have put so many hours into it since it was launched. If I could, I would have the new Fortnite modes in my game of the year. Especially the Rock Band one. Holy shit, it's so good. And they just announced that they're making guitars for it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, PDP just announced that. I'm like,
yes.
Don't make because I want I want to play Rock Band and shit like that. I know there's Rock Band 4, but it kind of sucks ass.
It does kind of suck.
And I'm like,
So how much do you know about the Fortnite Rock Band?
In my friend group, just to preface this, so I know you can play songs in it, and I've seen people playing as the 4 Peters in the fucking.
Do you know who made it?
Harmonix because they own Harmonix.
Okay, yeah. It's
So-
actually
so
made by Harmonix, so
My
it's
problem
good.
is in my friend group, right? I am the
Yeah.
Fortnite hater. I am the
Yes.
Fortnite hater to the point of like, hey, if there's one Fortnite hater left in the world, it's me. If there's no Fortnite haters, I am
I'm
dead.
dead.
You know, like that's who I am. And
All
like,
right, listen,
man. I cannot come back with my tail between my legs after
listen.
talking shit for all these years.
No. Part of being an adult is changing your mind.
You're
That
right.
is part of being an adult. You
You're
can be a
absolutely
fucking
right.
adult and be like, I want to play Rock Band, and that's why I will play Fortnite. You can do that, and I will definitely play with you.
I mean, that's my problem is I love rhythm games. I'm like, fuck.
It's very, you know what? Hold on. I got you. You have to look up in general chat right now.
Okay.
I've been waiting for this. Hit play on that video.
Okay.
Hit play on that fucking video. Oh, you're gonna have to go to the site because it's
That's fine.
copyrighted music. But hit play on that video.
Okay, it's 36 seconds long. We're fine.
Yeah. First, let me show you that The Weeknd is one of the first track packs that's in the game.
I mean, listen, the album that this song's on is phenomenal. If you haven't listened to it,
it is. And I just want you to see the charts for this song.
Fucking Christ.
So, yeah. Very, very fun.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do, Brandon.
Yes.
We're gonna wait because I'm not playing this shit on a controller.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not doing that.
Well, I'm playing it on keyboard, so I think that's the best way to play it.
I will.
And you can remap all the buttons.
Once PDP releases these guitars,
yes,
and I see how much they cost, and if they're good, maybe, maybe I will do this.
Okay,
because I need another Guitar Hero /
here's
Rock
another
Band
thing that that'll probably get you here.
Okay.
If anyone that is in your party owns the songs and they're out of rotation, you can play any of their songs that they own. Spoiler alert, I have spent $40 on this game and tracks alone in the last 3 days.
So that's my problem is I know if I download this, I will come back and be like, I've spent $500.
So first of all, there's only like 38, 39 tracks currently confirmed right now. There are definitely going to be more. We already know that. And there's only been like 20 or 25 that have been out so far. Some of the ones I own are The Hills from The Weeknd, Take My Breath Away from The Weeknd, Cake by the Ocean.
Let me look up Fortnite Festival track list.
Is the song called Cake by the Ocean? Like you're eating cake?
Yeah, the song is called Cake by the Ocean. The band's DNCE, and it's Cake by the Ocean. You would know it if you heard it.
It's a song about fucking at the beach. That's literally what it's about. So, you know.
So, okay, here's what we got here. Let's see if there's anything I'm excited about. I do love me some Belle Biv DeVoe.
I already have that.
I know you have Zombie by the Cranberries.
Cranberries isn't out yet. I'm waiting for it to appear in the shop, but it will be on my set list the second I get it.
The Hand That Feeds, gotta have that.
It's not out yet.
I'm waiting for gotta have that.
That came out today. I'm buying it after the
Seven
podcast.
Nation Army, you better buy that.
Yep.
Why is Gangnam Style? No, get out of here.
It's part of the Battle Pass, and it is actually very good on drums.
Drum?
Yep.
Wait, it's got I by Kendrick Lamar.
It does, and it is weird. Incredible.
That's weird because like these are songs that you wouldn't have in Rock Band. Like you wouldn't have a Kendrick Lamar song.
And that is why I think this is good because the Search in F is also there, and it is one of my favorite songs to play. Yeah. And you would not have these rap songs in Rock Band, and I think that's what sets this apart, as well as some of the charting. The note charting is very different. And out of these that are listed here that you're seeing, I've played Party Rock Anthem, I've played Bad Romance, I've played NF The Search, I've played Vampire, I've played Counting Stars, I've played Gangnam Style, I've played The Hills, Save Your Tears, Take My Breath, All by the Weeknd. I played Seven Nation Army. I've played all of the Epic Games songs that are out so far. I played Cake by the Ocean, Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, Poison by Del I can never pronounce. Yeah, okay. I played Dirty Little Secret by All American Rejects, and I played My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark by Fall Out Boy. I think that is... Oh, no, I played Mr. Brightside. I played I by Kendrick Lamar, Thunder as well by Imagine Dragons. And
I hate that
all of them.
I hate that song so much.
I was in the top 1,000 in that song the first day it came out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's like 400,000 people playing. I was in the top 1,000. Yeah, all of them, the note charts, very, very good. Like, incredible even. Especially like the rap things, because see, the vocals in this is a little bit different. The vocals actually works almost like an instrument in and of itself because of the fact that, well, you can't really sing in this right now with the way it's currently designed. And I do think it works in a very weird way, but it feels kind of like the kind of vocals you would have in something like a project, like a Hatsune Miku game or something like DJ Max Respect, something like that. And I think they did the vocals very, very well, especially with like Kendrick Lamar I. That song's incredible. It has like 7 stars across every single fucking instrument, including vocals, which obviously vocals, Kendrick Lamar, he raps pretty fucking fast.
He does.
And in I, he does that quite a bit as well. So it's great. I actually have like enjoyed all of my time with this so
Depending
much.
On who you are, there's some words you can't say, so you know.
Yeah, exactly, and the game does censor it, and I'm like, bro, he has a pass, so he should be able to say it. No, I've been really enjoying this, and the Rocket League one, that's Rocket Racers, is, and then when I tell you this, you might actually want this as well. Have you played a little game called Wipeout?
Don't do this to me.
Yeah, so the Rocket League thing is kind of like a mix between F-Zero and Wipeout, and it's very good.
Fuck. Okay.
And then the last one, the Lego one, is pretty much Valheim and Minecraft combined together, and it's also incredibly good. So
my brother's been playing that too, and I'm like, I need games to play with my brother.
Valheim's so good.
Well, me and him have played Valheim. I do like Valheim.
Yeah,
but
I think you would like it.
He's specifically playing Lego Fortnite, and I'm like, fuck. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see how
I know.
Strong I can be.
You don't have to be strong.
I'm
That's
gonna
the
be
thing.
strong. Well,
you don't have
also
to.
because there's other things I need to play. Like,
That's fine. I understand.
Like there's a list of things that I plan on, because I'm coming back here for Game of the Year stuff for us.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things that I've still like need to at least dip my toes into and have an opinion. I was planning on like blowing through FF16 this week, but truthfully, I don't know if I can. Only like I'm not working this week. But like, I don't know if I can bring myself to really play it.
I will tell you this: I dropped it.
I just finished Mario RPG,
except for biggest disappointment, probably.
So I don't know how much I feel like playing another RPG right away.
Yeah.
So I kind of I want to explore some of the other games that I've yet to play this year.
Yeah.
So like, there's that, and I think I'd rather put the time.
Cyberpunk, and
I think I'm gonna get that. Probably for Steam Deck, and then I also. Even though I just said I don't want to play another RPG soon, I do want to finish Sea of Stars as well, because I would rather put time in the Sea of Stars than FF16 at this point.
How do you feel about Baldur's Gate 3, good sir?
So I love it. It's got the same problem any other D&D thing has, is like I'll start playing with my friends and then we'll all be like, whoop, I can't play today. But from what I've played, I absolutely love it. It's great. So good. But
it deserved its Game of the Year easily. I dropped 8 hours in one day into that game.
I can't wait till we get to the guessing portion of each other's lists for Game of the Year, because I truly think I'm gonna throw you guys for a loop with what I liked and what I didn't like as much this year. Like I feel like you guys probably have made some assumptions about where I'm gonna have certain things on my list.
I actually have no idea where you're gonna stand this year, and I'm very excited.
Because
there's been so many good games that have come out this year that I don't know which ones will be on your list.
Listen,
Nick, you're like a huge advantage because we don't have to listen to you talk about what you like every week. Like I could probably already tell you Brandon's top 3
easily. Yeah.
I feel like I'm able to guess Brandon's top. I don't know.
You can probably guess my top 2 just from talking to me right now.
Yeah, he's already mentioned 2 of them.
I will. Don't confirm. Well, if that's the case, then I already know all 3 because I know Pizza Tower's on there.
It is, but it's not number 3. But it is in my top 10.
Like, I know Pizza Tower's on his list. Like that's happening.
It got robbed, man. It got robbed.
But
can I interrupt with a random thing that I did not realize news-wise, since we were just talking about crossovers? Did you guys see this Vampire Survivors?
I did. Among Us. I'm excited for it. It releases tomorrow, I think. It might be on the 14th.
I think
I'm not sure which one.
So yeah, it's within like the next couple days.
Yes.
I was like, I just happened to see it because like
that's
I went
another
to YouTube
really
and I was
good
like,
thing about Vampire Survivors. Like quite literally, they'll just drop random shit like this.
Yeah.
So it's like when you think you're out of content, fuck you.
Here
you go. Have some more.
Have you bought that yet, Mike?
Oh, he has. He fell down the
good?
rabbit hole. I persuaded my man to get the game.
Oh my god!
I pretty much 100%ed it.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It just keeps going, my dude.
It does.
I think I'm done, and I'm like, wait, what? There's been times where I've been playing that, which I should not be playing that game high because of the things that it does. Because, like, I'll play, like, the same level. I remember there was one night I was high as shit. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I was stoned as a gravel fucking road. And I played, like, the same level 3 times. And, like, the third time I played the level, it was, like, completely different. And I was like, what is going on? Like, things were just happening to me. I was a victim. Like,
that's that game in a nutshell.
What was happening, what I was doing. I was like screaming. I was like, what is happening? But I, like, to this day, like, I still play that game so much. Like, I absolutely love that fucking game.
I know you don't like VTubers, but have you happened to play the HoloLive version of it that is really fucking good? It is incredibly good. It is free. It's on Steam. I highly recommend it.
I have 113 of the 196 achievements, and I have 34 hours on record, and most of that was played this year, I will say.
148 of 196 for me.
I play more of this after
and I have
now we're talking about it.
67 hours on record, but that doesn't count the offline hours on my Steam Deck, which don't fucking chart.
There was a solid week where my Steam Deck sits on my TV, like with a little thingy, because I was playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands with my friends this past summer for the first time, and there was a
pretty good game.
Yeah. There was a week or so where I had my charger on the wall next to my couch because I was coming home, sitting down, chuffing a dart, and just playing that game for like hours on end, and just being like, this is what I'm doing for the next.
That sounds like the appropriate way to play that game.
And honestly, you'd be shocked. It's actually.
I don't think I would, honestly.
Listen. It calms my nerves because otherwise I'm like, whoa. Love that. I'm so happy you bought that because I cannot sing the praises of that game enough, and I'm so happy when I hear more people getting it.
Same, man. Yeah. I'm so happy you picked it up. I actually...
But yeah, once the Among Us stuff comes out, I'll be
18th. I just checked it out. The 18th.
And the adventure stuff just came out, I think, this week. I think that's maybe what was... That was the
nice
one. It was that... So that update with the adventures content where they kind of have that kind of story-ish gameplay stuff, and then a week later is the other stuff. So yeah, definitely lots of Vampire Survivors. Although it seems like the Xbox and PC versions are able to get through whatever the logistics is to get it released faster. So the other systems seem to follow shortly after.
Yeah.
All right. Kojima and Jordan Peele team up for OD. Let's talk about that, shall we? That's the next moment from the Game Awards. Nick, you're talking about how they were fighting each other on stage for quite a while.
Yeah.
How much of this...
that was my words, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. How much do you think... I mean, how much did you notice about this game? Have you looked into anything? Or seen any of the social media discourse?
The very first thing I noticed was that they both walked out of the door from PT.
They walked out of the PT door, you're right. They walked out of the literal door from PT.
And then I know in the trailer, each time they showed somebody, it had a letter, and that letter spelled out a word that I think when translated translates to silent.
It's Quiet Mountains is what it translates to.
All right, so yeah, Quiet Mountain, Silent Hill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's 100% Kojima trolling. This is not a Silent Hill game.
It's gotta be, right? Because also, it can't be a Silent Hill game.
No.
Like, that's not possible. But I do want to point out some things, because I do think this was one of the most interesting things we saw at the Game Awards because nothing makes sense for this video, and there's so much stuff that you can pick apart from this small trailer. Like, I'm going to point out, did you look in the eyeballs of the person at the end of the trailer?
No.
You can witness the door opening up and a man covered in a cloak behind the door as she screams.
Okay.
Which, again, is exactly what happened in PT. Because the guy was a murderer in PT, and we got some weird shit that seems to be coinciding with it. Now, I don't know what this is.
So first of all, it's Kojima, so
Maybe he doesn't.
I put over 100 hours into Death Stranding, and I could not tell you what that game is. I will say, even though it's definitely not a Silent Hill game, he probably is taking a lot of the ideas and a lot of the concepts, and maybe even like a lot of the core design elements of what he was going to do for that, and applying it to this. As far as what it is going to be game wise, I have no clue, because he's always got to do these things where like I'm making a whole new genre. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And also I know he's not just working with Jordan Peele. So,
yes,
like,
he's working with other people that have not been announced yet.
Yeah,
so
which one of them's going to be fucking Del Toro for sure.
You think so?
Yes, because he works with him on a lot of different shit.
Yeah. And it never comes out.
He tends to stay with the same kind of group of people, I've noticed. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw, like, Mads Mikkelsen in this, or, whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But what really impressed me about it is, after the fact that the trailer came out, that was all in-engine in UE5.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I was watching it, they were like, oh, this must be just them in, like, the mocap recording thing. And I'm like, no, this is in-engine, which is crazy. Yeah. But also what I come to expect with Kojima, because he takes game engines and just pushes them to the fucking limit.
Yeah.
But I don't know why we needed this announced now. Obviously, we knew a Kojima Xbox game was coming because they announced it, like a year ago, I want to say, at TGS or something like that.
Yeah.
So I have a really weird theory as to why so much Xbox stuff was announced.
Why?
Have you seen the Xbox tax trending on Twitter for the last month?
The Xbox tax?
Yes.
No.
So, there is a theory that outlets such as IGN, Kotaku, GameSpot, those kind of places, judge things that are on Xbox much more harshly. Because it's Xbox and they have a general bias towards just outright hating Xbox. Some of the people have shown that literally IGN will post things like they did today. For instance, they posted an article on how to unsubscribe from Game Pass. No reason. Just randomly posted an article today on how to unsubscribe from Game Pass. Okay. And a lot of people are like, they have a definite bias towards hating Xbox. During the ABK deal, they absolutely just tore down Xbox and held PlayStation up on a golden pedestal the entire time, more or less. And refused to like acknowledge that, hey, maybe they're both just pieces of shit or anything like that, or maybe
they're both companies at the end of the day. Like
exactly. Yeah. Instead, they were just kind of simping for PlayStation and ripping Xbox apart every single chance they get. Now, we all know Call of Duty was bad this year. Yeah. But if you report once that it's bad, okay, makes sense. You report twice that it's bad. Makes sense. You report 3 times that maybe some things are bad. Still makes sense. You do it like 4 or 5 times. Still makes sense if you do it throughout the course of, a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They did 10 reports on how bad Call of Duty was the day it launched at Kotaku. And they continuously shared it over and over again, and also tied things such as, maybe this happened due to the ABK deal. Maybe we shouldn't have given Xbox Call of Duty. And they tried to push that narrative and stuff like that. And so the Xbox tax in general is what a lot of people believe, where outlets are just more partial towards shitting on Xbox just because it's Xbox and they don't want them to succeed.
Yeah, probably.
And that was a thing that was trending on Twitter and in other social media places for quite a while, where people were discussing, is there an Xbox tax? And then people were talking about how the examples I just gave you appear far more. But when Sony does something like, for instance, taking away, I think it was 2,000 TV shows that people paid for and not allowing them to get their money back, which recently happened with Discovery, and removing all their TV shows from there and not allowing people, that's reported on like a single time and then swept under the rug. And that's a very weird thing. Like, if Xbox had done that, it would be reported like 20 times in one day.
For sure.
And as such, people started talking about it's a tax. If you release a game on Xbox, then there's a tax. You're going to be more scrutinized because you're releasing on Xbox. And people started pointing out all those sort of things. So a lot of people then, in return, believed that to try to downplay the Xbox tax controversy that had been cropping up on social media over the last month or two, they revealed a lot of games for Xbox at the Game Awards to be like, see, there's no Xbox tax. Why would we be showing so many random Xbox things and praising them, inadvertently? If there was an Xbox tax, why did we have, Marvel's Blade shown off for the first time, an Xbox game, being made by an Xbox studio? Or why did we have Kojima come out to talk about his Xbox game? And a lot of people, it felt disingenuous, like the entire awards did, and felt like it was a way to cover up something else, essentially.
Okay.
So that was why several people thought OD was shown, that and just Jeff Keighley has a hard-on for Kojima, and that as much as I do.
Yeah.
So that was a interesting theory.
Yeah, because I was shocked that we saw a trailer for OD and nothing new about
Death Stranding 2,
which is like.
But that's a PlayStation game. We're not gonna.
But it's also like
show off
the game that more people are like.
Trying to
even still, more people are interested in that than I mean, I'll play OD. I'm not gonna not play OD.
Yeah.
I will say, side note, I was debating. I keep seeing it popping up. I keep seeing Series X's on sale for $350, and I'm like, ooh.
I think if you already have a PS5, right?
Yeah.
And you're not heavily into Game Pass, there's no point there.
Yeah, but I also
thing. But if you do play a lot of Game Pass games and you do want to try a lot of games, I do think a Series X is a good fit.
I decided I was going to hold off because my only assumption is the only reason that they're trying to sell these at such a cheap price is there's
we're about to get a refresh,
a newer model coming out, whether it be a Slim or what have you.
Yeah, I think so too.
My money would be on a Slim, only because even though the Series X
did their Slim, Xbox hasn't yet, and then
the Series X isn't
huge,
do their Pro. Yeah, but maybe it'll be we'll see. Because one of the things I love about my Series S is the form factor, for sure. Like the only reason I haven't pulled the trigger yet is because of purely on the form factor.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can't beat it. But no, back to just them filleting each other on stage. Like that's my thing. Like they had that, and then obviously Anthony Mackie was like trying to be Keanu Reeves for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it didn't work.
Yeah, it wasn't fun because Anthony Mackie is not entertaining. I don't care for him. But yeah, like I was like, all right, cool. We got this trailer for this Kojima game for Xbox. They're talking about how much they love each other, and then Jeff Keighley's just like the cuck of the group because they're just like sucking each other off, and Jeff's like, I love every moment of this. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then
Jordan Peele felt what's the word I'm thinking of? He felt like, when he was talking with Kojima and everything, it actually felt like it wasn't just Hollywood speak. He actually felt like a legitimate fan. Like he was like excited to be working on something with Kojima.
If you've seen one Jordan Peele movie, this man has played at least one Kojima game. Like there's no way.
I agree. Yeah.
That he hasn't. Kojima, I will say, was an absolute fucking troll though. Because the weeks leading up to the Game Awards, he was like, "Oh, I'm cutting this trailer, doing this trailer, and whatever." And then the day of the Game Awards, he posts a picture of his Walkman, and he's listening to "I'll Keep Coming" by Low Roar, the song that was the first trailer for Death Stranding 1. I was like, "Oh, we're getting Death Stranding 2 shit today," and I was like, "Nope, you're getting funny. OD."
Listen, he's a fun guy. He likes trolling people. He's enjoyable.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah, so some of my thoughts on OD, right?
Yeah.
I think this game's going to have something to do with AI intelligence.
Okay.
I do think it is going
cool.
to be a game in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
I think he's going to implement some of the things he wanted to put into PT, because in case you did not realize, there was an interview, I think it was last year, where some stuff was revealed about what was going to happen with PT, how the game was going to communicate with you outside of the game.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, your phone could be interacted with in the middle of the night by sending like text messages from the characters and shit like that to interact with you in a meta way outside of the game. And that seems really fucking weird and exactly like something that Kojima would do. And if he implemented AI characters into his newest game, it would be way easier for him to do something like that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I do think this is going to be like a really weird experience, though. I do think it's going to be something to do with AI. And one of my reasoning for it is the sentence that the guys are saying at the beginning
Oh,
of
yeah, because they're
that
like,
is the sentence that's used to train AI in
yeah.
in situations for, like when they're like starting out like programming and that sort of thing. So I do think that there's something going on there.
No,
But
I
yeah.
can see that.
Yeah.
Very Kojima to go something like that.
It is very Kojima to do something like that. So we can actually get down to the award winners now. You see, we talked about the moments, and I kind of wanted to do this on purpose because this is kind of how the Game Awards treated the Game Awards. They were more excited about the moments and the people showing up than actually celebrating the people that made video games. And that kind of sucks, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely some things here that just got completely looked over. Like you were talking about Sea of Stars, Nick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That won Best Indie Game. Did you even know that?
So, well, what pisses me off is like that the team behind Sea of Stars, right? Very passionate about what they're doing. The game came out to like just wonderful reviews. Like I think before I say this, let me just double check, right? Because
it's very highly rated.
We all love Sea of Stars. Okay, let's see what the Metacritic. So currently, Sea of Stars is like sitting at an 87 Metacritic score with an 8.1 user score.
Yeah, people started downvoting it due to the Game Awards.
Let's just look at let me just look up Starfield real quick. 83 and 7.0. So like, they made a bigger deal about Starfield than they did about this game. And like, if you're like a huge RPG fan, like go play.
Can I talk about Starfield while you're here?
Yeah, you can. I don't plan on playing that shit.
No, I mean like right now. Yeah, Starfield
if I
such a dog shit game.
Yeah, because it looks fucking boring. It looks boring as shit.
So
they made No Man's Sky, but like somehow worse. From the original version, not now.
No. I get what you're saying. But I wanted to actually like add more to that really quickly. Since you brought up Starfield now, and you've kind of triggered my PTSD because I spent like 12, 15, 16 hours in that game. And then I just dropped it. What? There's nothing I could do.
What were you doing?
So there's an actual story, but the story is so bad that eventually I realized, I know exactly where this is going, and I don't care to see it. So I'm
like
done.
every Bethesda story, basically.
I would love to say you're correct, but it's worse in every way, shape, and form than Skyrim was in 2011.
Wow. Okay, that's actually pretty dog shit then.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Okay.
About this game. There are things in this game that were mistakes that were not in Skyrim.
Okay. And
so for instance,
like glitches, or you talk about like just
there's very
gameplay?
few. There was actually very few glitches in the game, believe it or not. It's really hard to believe. I know, really hard to believe. They actually did a really good job making the game be as ungame breaking as possible, as un-Bethesda as possible, if you will. And that's great. I just wish they gave me a game I cared about. There were no characters that felt genuine that you played with. and they all felt kind of like past characters from other games, but like stapled onto a space opera kind of game instead that didn't really work because there's no reason you ever want to be in space, and the best part of the game is being able to build your ship and do all these really cool things with it, but there's no reason to ever do it, like, period. And when you realize that, like, 6 hours into the game, you're like, oh no. And that's a problem. But even more so, Skyrim. You may have played a little game by the name of Skyrim.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how, like, you could kind of be a bad person in Skyrim, and that was a literal way you could play the game?
Yeah, I mean, you can do that in Fallout. You can do that.
Yeah.
And any
Yeah.
actually, I don't know if Oblivion was the same, but I know every Fallout
No,
you
you're
could be
right.
you could be a
You're right.
dickhead.
You can't here. Literally, you get punished for trying to play the game like a dickhead.
Oh.
So much so that there was one point where I set it up where I trapped someone that was an informant in a room with me, because they were trying to extort me, and I was just gonna blow their head off and leave, kill in that mission right then and there, and I have to deal with the rest of it. And my companion said, "We can't do that. Don't do that. That's not us. We're not that." And I'm just sitting here like, why would you give me the option of hacking this, setting this up, doing this, choosing the dialogue tree that literally says kill, and then just having my companion step in and go, I won't let you do that. And that kind of gatekeeping from your own team happens a lot in Starfield. And I mean a lot. To the point where it's kind of impossible to roleplay in the role-playing game because the game won't let you.
I mean, who would want to roleplay in a role-playing game?
And that's one of my biggest issues with Starfield. Because you know what? Gun combat, really fun. It's actually pretty good.
I think I don't know if it was it or Machine Games helped them out with that.
That makes
One
sense.
of the two.
That actually makes a lot of sense then. The towers, super cool. You're basically using modified version of powers that from Skyrim, but in space. And also you're able to control gravity, which is kind of fucking cool. Makes you be able to float around and shoot people while floating around. Super fucking neat. Really cool idea. But I can't find an interesting game to play it in. And I can't play the game the way I want to because every single time I attempt to, the game stops me from doing it.
Can't let you do that.
It literally does have, like, you know how like in Telltale games they give you like the illusion of choice,
Yeah.
and then they rip it away from you, and like you see behind the curtain that there was no option for that in the first place, even though it let you pick to do that, and you went down this long quest line to do that, and then just we don't care, you don't actually get to make that choice. Imagine that, but in a role-playing game. Yeah, imagine that, but in a role-playing game.
That doesn't make any sense. What's the point? What's the point?
No, there's no point. I do really like that because this news this week too. There was some people working on like the multiplayer mod for this, and they just gave up.
They gave up because
this game's too boring.
Well, not only that, because they're like, there's nothing to do in this game when they're not going to make a multiplayer. But I don't know if you recently saw too. They made a very small update to Skyrim, and it broke every single mod.
Yeah, and really? It added paid mods in.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So not only did it update the game in a way that made every user created mod unusable, it added paid mods. And it's like, why does Bethesda hate the modding community so much? Is it because they fixed the games that you guys can't make right the first time?
You're right. I got a video that you need to check out, and you'll see that some of my opinions are echoed in this video as well. But if you go back and listen to the podcast, you'll know that those were my opinions also in the past. But there's a video by Nakey Jakey, which if you've never watched his stuff, he does really good retrospectives on gaming and stuff like that. And the video is called Bethesda's Game Design Was Outdated a Decade Ago.
Oh yeah.
It released 3 days ago, and it's a video about Starfield.
Yeah, it keeps popping up on my feed all the time.
It's very good. I highly recommend watching it. It kind of echoes my sentiments about Starfield just in general. So
I mean, I totally see that, and it's correct only because they, again, the whole reason I wasn't excited for Starfield to begin with this year is when they were like, "Hey guys, we're still using the creation engine," and I'm like, "Hey, why? Yeah. UE5 exists. Just use UE5. Just use it. It's fine. You don't have to use your own in-house engine every single time, especially when it sucks shit."
Yep, I agree.
You know, like, at a certain point, you got to say to yourself, hey, we're releasing a product that people pay money for. And we are taking their hard-earned dollary dues and just kind of shitting all over them, being like, well, we don't give a fuck. You're going to buy this anyway. At a certain point, they're not going to buy the shit anymore.
You're right. I think it's probably high time that we hop over to the actual award winners and give them more attention than the Game Awards did. How do you guys feel about this?
I'm fine with that because actually, we have opinions for some of the awards. So
yeah, definitely.
I definitely do. Anyway.
I do too. So where do you want to start? I guess that's my question.
I mean,
I kind of want to go through most of these because I do think there are some interesting choices here, and there are some that I absolutely agree with. I mostly agree with a lot of the picks here, believe it or not. But I would rather say more about the picks than the actual Game Awards did, because I felt like that was like really shitty how they were like, yeah, this wins. All right, bye. It really sucked.
Again, yeah, that's kind of my frustrations at this point with the Game Awards is that it's like, hey, we're here to celebrate games, and then like you said, like, hey, did you know Sea of Stars got indie game or whatever the fuck? No, because he like at one point was just like rapid fire, and I was like, can we slow down?
Yeah.
Like, it's so shitty, right? Because these teams deserve to get up there and talk and be like, say what they want to say, but it's like, even it was like they only gave attention to the big players, which, I mean, cool, but like, how about we make some room for the little guys and the up and coming guys and the people who are just getting started, because that's the future, not Anuma, who's probably got maybe a Zelda left in him.
Which is going to make it really weird that I'm going to start with the most anticipated game because I want to know your thoughts on this one.
Okay, let me pull it up real quick.
You want me to link the digital trends one that has all the lists of things?
I'm on IGN's. I think.
Oh, you want to hand me that one then? We'll go.
I think I remember
that way.
Yeah, I'm using IGN's as well.
Okay, it was FF7 Rebirth.
It was FF7 Rebirth.
So since we've last spoken, my opinion on FF7, the whole remake, has kind of shifted a little bit.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I will say, out of this category, not what I would have gone with. My personal one, Hades 2, because I fucking love Hades. Star Wars and Tekken never had a chance. Like a Dragon had a sliver of a chance.
Surprisingly, a lot of people voted for Like a Dragon.
I'm not shocked by that because I remember when
I think with the fact that like a Dragon is now like mainstream is the thing that's still surprising me because I grew up with Yakuza 3 and everyone being like, the fuck is that?
But no, so I actually, the more I see about Rebirth, the more I'm like kind of excited for it because it looks really, really fucking good. And because I forget when we had this conversation, but basically you were talking to me how about basically Aerith fucking knows.
Yeah.
And that kind of shifted the whole perspective of that game for me.
So you're now thinking about it that way and looking back on it and being like, wait a minute, hold up.
Because instead of it being like, oh, it's just what's his name shitting on people who like the original game, it's like, no, it's you're gonna get the remake of FF7. That's already a thing that exists. Right? Yeah. You can play the one that's on PlayStation now, the like the retro one with like all the mods to it, or there's the episodic version coming out.
It's already out. Like, the mobile phone one? Yeah, it's out already.
Which is like just the game.
They just released it on PC also, by the way.
Yeah. This is more so like, hey, what if we actually... Because my biggest thing with FF7, because when everybody tells me, oh, FF7 is my favorite, I shit on them because I'm like, no, the story's ass. So I'm hoping that what this is them being like, hey, the story's is ass. Let's make it better. So that's kind of the opinion I have of it now of like, oh, they're not following the original story because they knew it was shit. And they're taking what they had instead of redacting everything and changing it. It's more of like an alternative timeline where Aerith knows what happens to her in the original. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Yep.
I'm actually on board with that. I, again, wouldn't say it's my personal most anticipated game, but it's also hard to put anything FF7 related on a list and it not win.
Yeah,
so that's true. So here's the thing. Like we both finished FF7 like remake. At the end, we fought those fucking squiggly dudes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the squiggly dudes.
That was fate. Like, so we destroyed the game having to follow its own original
correct
plot line, basically. Yes. And because of that,
we attacked and dethroned God.
Yeah, and for some reason Zach's still alive, so what the fuck? you know?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this to me builds up a more interesting story now.
You know what I firmly believe is going to happen? I don't know if I said this while you were still here, but I firmly believe...
I have a theory, but I want to hear yours.
Okay, what's your theory? I want to hear yours first.
First of all, Cloud's dying.
Cloud's dying, 100%. They're killing Cloud off, 100%. Exactly.
If I could high five you right now, I would. But yeah, 100% Cloud's dying. Are you kidding me? That's not what's not happening.
It's like written. It's like literally written in the stars. If you played the remake, you're like, oh, if you have any ounce of like intuition, you're like,
if I know
they're gonna straight up kill off
about video games that deal with alternate timelines and alternate dimensions. Zach's not dead. Somebody's got to take his place.
Yep.
Especially because of the cover art for this one, where it shows off profoundly Zach, Cloud, and Sephiroth with Cloud in the middle. I'm like, I think Rebirth is going to end with Cloud dying.
I think so too.
The last part is going to be Zach versus Sephiroth.
I think so too. I actually think you're 100% right. Yeah. Yep. I'm very excited for it. This releases 2 days after my birthday. This is going to be the game I buy for my birthday.
Oh, hell yeah. I still have to play. I didn't play Integrate at all. So I got to play Integrate.
Yeah, I got to stream that for my friend. I haven't finished
Yuffie.
the Yuffie DLC. Yeah.
And Rebirth making Red 13 playable also excites me because I love Red 13.
That's sick. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll actually like get back into this because maybe I judged you too soon.
I think we both did. We both had like vitriol for this game when it came out.
For sure. But we didn't see the vision. That's the problem. We
really didn't. Yeah. And it took someone that did helping skew me towards it. So my friend James, he wanted me to stream the entire game for him and give my thoughts on it, and I did. And he and I were talking while I was streaming it, and like as I saw more and more of what he was thinking, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm kind of excited for whatever comes next." And he's like, "Right?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, all right, I'm down. I'm down for this." So I understand why this one wins, 100%, and it's an easy win.
Yeah, it's like last year, like Zelda was not gonna not win. Like that's
and we all, when we looked at this category, that was what we were like, yep, this is the only winner
for sure.
So I'm gonna hop up to best multiplayer game because I'm just gonna skip over all the rest of the bullshit. We already talked about Iron Mouse winning, which was the only one that I found interesting in there. So yeah, best multiplayer game. Baldur's Gate 3 won this. How do we feel about this?
I feel this whole category was pretty interesting, right? Because I look at these and I know they all have multiplayer aspects to them. But really in my mind, one, maybe two of them are actually strictly multiplayer games.
I agree.
BG3 you can play solo. Diablo 4 you can play solo. Mario Bros. Wonder is solo.
And I think I do enjoy the online play with that game, but I do feel like it's almost a stretch calling that one a multiplayer game.
I wonder if we're about to have the same opinion on what we would have picked for best multiplayer game.
And I know it's co-op, and I know it's MMO experiences, shit like that. But like, I mean, BG3 getting it, maybe, sure, whatever. I personally probably would have given it to Street Fighter.
I absolutely would have given it to Street Fighter 6. That would have been my personal pick.
I mean, with these lists, that makes the most sense.
Yeah,
hands down.
Because Party Animals is fun. Don't get me wrong, but like, sure, but it's
Street Fighter 6 is an incredible game. Though.
Street Fighter 6 is the best Street Fighter. I will go out on a limb and say.
Damn.
I know that's a hot
really
take.
like Third Strike, but you know what? Man, I'll give it to you because Street Fighter
really
6
like Third
is
Strike too.
Really good.
I even like Street Fighter 4, but like 6 just feels great and it's the most approachable. I think it's for
It's
me,
gotten my friends that don't play fighting games into
correct.
playing fighting games,
So,
and they've really been having a blast with it, and I've just been so happy seeing them enjoy a fighting game.
yes.
It's
What's good
really
about it
fantastic.
is that not only is it a good Street Fighter game, but it's good for the IP as a whole because it's getting new people into it. And when
It's
you have
also
a
just a
fighting
good
game,
video game.
yeah, when
Like,
you have
it's really well
like,
made.
it's really hard nowadays to get people to really play. Like most of the people that play fighting games and like stick with it are the people who have been playing it for years. It's really hard and it's really intimidating too for a lot of new people just in my own circle because like I deal with a lot of this shit because I run Street Fighter tournaments. I run Street Fighter 6 tournaments alongside Smash now.
Absolutely.
And the amount of people who are like, oh wow, I didn't know people would be so nice and so willing to help me out. I'm like, yeah, come in. People will sit down with you. You can play with modern controls and like you're fine. So
Dude,
I think
the
it does.
fighting game community has got like some of the nicest people in
Yeah,
it,
for
like,
sure.
easily when it comes to gaming communities.
I think what it does is it really reinvigorates the IP as a whole and gets people excited about it again. And then now they're doing things like we're getting the Spy Family crossover, which I'm really hoping. I am so hoping it's not just a costume. I actually do hope we're getting Yor in Street Fighter as a playable character.
I feel like they're just gonna go costume route. I feel the exact same way as you, but like I would love to fight as Yor.
If they give Chun-Li a Yor assassin outfit,
yeah,
I'm playing Chun-Li now. Like I'm switching off of Cammy. But
so you're a Cammy main as well. High five.
Yeah, what? Kidding me?
Wait, hold on. Do you have a secondary character and
Kimberly.
Is it Jury? Ah, okay, fine.
That's Jury's great. Don't get me wrong. Jury's great, but it's Kimberly because Kimberly is just faster Cammy.
Fair.
But no, very good game. Like if you're the kind of person who is kind of standoffish to fighting games, like Street Fighter 6 is a great jump off point because, like I said, you can play with modern controls. You don't need a fight stick. Just hop on there with your regular controller, like whatever, what have you, and just kind of have a fun time with it. Like it's so good. So I personally would have given that to Street Fighter 6, but like
same.
I do kind of see where they're coming from with BG3 because that's a fun game in and of itself. Yeah. But playing with a group of people, it can be more fun or not because like I have a friend who I love him to death. He doesn't listen to this podcast, so I can talk a little shit. He's one of these people that just overanalyzes everything. So when you present somebody like that with just so many choices, they like there was one fight we were playing the beginning of the game, and like when you crash land on the beach and like there's like the part of the ship with like all of the little dudes in it, like. He's like, I'm going to move around, and I want to, like, we're already in combat. There's no surprise round. There's nothing. We are in combat. And he's like, I'm going to try and run around behind them and surprise them. I'm like, they know you're here. So, like, by the time he, like, had enough movement to get behind whatever he wanted to attack, I killed everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, we got to play this a little differently, bud. But
So I actually want to use this as a jumping off point to go to innovation and accessibility. I firmly believe that Street Fighter 6 should have also won this.
Yes and no. Are you saying strictly because of the modern versus classic controls?
I'm saying because of how accessible it made the fighting game genre to people like we're talking about right here, right now, and how many more people it brought into the fighting game genre because of how accessible it is to a wider audience. And I think that is a very important thing to do. Like, yes, Forza Motorsport, which is the winner of innovation and accessibility, literally had a I will race for you mode, which just kind of seems like, all right, that kind of defeats the entire purpose of being a video game, I guess. And I don't really know who that was made for so much. Like,
people
yeah, that's a
YouTube
huge
and watch
thing.
Games.
That's a huge thing when it comes to accessibility. Absolutely. And then, we have the other choices here, such as like Mortal Kombat 1 and Spider-Man 2. But I feel like actually making something more accessible to a wider audience, which was their definition of accessibility, Street Fighter 6 fucking nailed it. Like in every way, shape, and form.
So I don't know how I feel about that. Only because I always saw accessibility as like a
addressing someone's handicap, because like if that is the case, then why is Mortal Kombat 1 here? Because it did like the same thing but not as good as Street Fighter 6.
I don't know. So like what the kind of things that I think of that was like a colorblind
like
mode,
why the fuck is Diablo 4 here? We had like one colorblind mode that didn't even do that well. So
like as much as we'll shit, as much as we'll shit on The Last of Us, like they actually do a really good job with
Oh,
their
absolutely.
accessibility modes and like
Horizon
Spider-Man,
Zero Dawn. Both of
Horizon,
those. Right.
So like they do a good
Tony
job, but
nails that shit.
I guess it comes. I don't know really what it came down to for them, but for me personally, it comes down to like how can we get people who otherwise couldn't play this game to play this game?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, and it's like I understand like with Street Fighter 6, it's like you have the modern and the classic controls, and that makes it more approachable for like regular people. But like otherwise, like if there were no modern / classic controls in Street Fighter 6, I truthfully believe that you would still be able to get people to play it if you had somebody or some way of explaining to them how to play it. So like I would more so kind of shift over to games like Hi-Fi Rush or Spider-Man 2, where like they made it so that like, hey, if you can't keep a rhythm, like you can play the game, or if there's an issue with,
So Hi-Fi Rush, I agree with. Spider-Man 2 kind of was just doing the same thing every other third-person Sony game does, So it's like just kind of copy and pasting it, and this is supposed to be like recognizing something, pushing the medium forward and adding features. And as far as adding features, I felt like Street Fighter did it really well, and Hi-Fi Rush
I don't
well
disagree with you at all.
did do it very well. I like Forza Motorsport winning. I get it. I 100% get it. But when I like look at the reason why it won, I don't understand, because yes, it will allow people to play it in this, that, and the other ways and whatnot, but it's kind of playing and being disingenuous to those people. Like it's kind of playing itself. It's not really using their inputs. So when it comes down to that, why not just watch someone play it instead? Like you're not going to be able to enjoy it even if you do have those disabilities, because you're not really having as much input into the game, and it's just kind of treating you as inferior, in my opinion. It's kind of like treating you like you don't really matter that much, and it's just going to do whatever it wants without you being able to stop it, more or less. That's kind of how I felt about Forza. I thought Forza winning this one was a very weird pick, as opposed to anything else here, more or less.
No, I understand that. I can get that for sure.
But yeah, moving on, I guess.
Moving on.
Do we want to even talk about VR AR games? Did anyone play VR this year?
No,
me neither.
I could not be fucked to plug in my first gen.
Yeah. So let's move over to best community sport, which had the choices of Baldur's Gate 3, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 16, which I don't think that should say 16. I think it should say 14. No Man's Sky, and Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Out of all of these, what would your pick have been?
Not BG3.
No, not
really.
BG3.
No, not BG3. I think I would have to. I mean, I don't know again why it says specifically Phantom Liberty, but again, I think Cyberpunk in general, because they
I think they're talking just about the new patches and everything.
Yeah, they still keep dropping new. Like they just dropped 2.1 like a few weeks ago or so. Like they're still
like 3 days ago.
Yeah. So they're still doing a lot of overhauling to that game and a lot of changes to make it what it needs to be. And like it's fine. Like 3 years later, we're finally there. And I like looking at these other games. Definitely not Destiny 2. They like Bungie.
No, they fucked it.
FF16 didn't.
I think it should have been 14. I'm pretty sure this should have said 14.
If it's supposed to be 14, again, like there were really no huge glaring issues with 14 in the last year that I felt like Square Enix was like scrambling to fix things. And even at that, like with No Man's Sky, like No Man's Sky definitely has an incredible support for their game.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I don't think that like these games are at a point where they were like critically failing and they were like, all right, we're going to take a step back here and figure out what we need to do to get these things back on, except for Destiny 2, but they didn't do anything. And then like BG3, like BG3, people seem to forget that game's been in early access for like a very long time.
3 years.
Yeah. Which like so
that's what so here's the thing. That's what I thought this was talking about, because of they've been supporting it using the community for 3 years, and they built the game that they wanted to make with help of the community. And I thought that because of that, it kind of did make sense as the winner here, because this
Okay.
game wouldn't exist without the support from the community and without them listening to community feedback the way it is today. It would not be Game of the Year if they would have released their early access version this year, much like Cyberpunk was not Game of the
For
Year when they
sure.
released their early access version that year. That's the way I read this category, which might be wrong, but it made sense when you read it that way, because like Baldur's Gate 3 would not be what it is without the support of the community, without supporting the community, is what I'm saying. So I kind of agreed with this pick, actually. But if it wasn't Baldur's Gate 3, it would probably be Final Fantasy 14, which I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be 14. In fact, I'm going to go check the Game Awards right now. The Game Awards website.
Yeah.
Because like that, there's why would 16 be here? Why would 16 be?
Yeah, no,
that doesn't make any sense.
Does not need to be.
Because
view all categories. We're gonna go community support. Where the fuck is that?
I mean, it's a useless category.
There it is. It is a useless category. It was supposed to be 14.
Okay. So they
makes a lot more sense.
But again, even still, like 14 has been fine for a very long time. Like, we're good.
Okay, well, so no, I will actually say no to that one, because in case you do not recall, one of their expansion packs was delayed because of everything that was going on. Do you remember this?
How long ago was this?
Yeah, when was this?
Last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
What expansion got delayed?
I don't know what it was called, but then they released it like a few months later. I think it was released in this year, actually. So let me see what the most recent expansion was. Oh wait, no, it hasn't been released yet. So the 5th expansion, which is Dawn Trail, was supposed to be releasing this year. Dawn Trail was supposed to be releasing this year. It was delayed due to the backup from everything that happened during the pandemic and whatnot. And the creator of Final Fantasy 14 was so like upset by it, like he came out and like publicly apologized to everyone and was like very receptive to the entire community and like was very casual about like the problems, explaining what had happened, why they weren't able to get it out on time, and just asking in a way to the community, hey, please just give us some more time. And then he went on to say something along the lines of like, hey, basically the community accepted like him immediately, and they're like, you don't have to fucking apologize and this sort of thing and whatnot. But like he was man enough to be like, hey, I'm not gonna rush this product out, I'm gonna delay it, I really hope you guys can forgive me, and that sort of thing. I thought that was kind of cool that the developer would do that in current year, basically. I do like that.
Yeah, that's okay.
And again, I'm always going to be partial towards No Man's Sky when it comes to this thing, because they literally have released 22 free expansions. Yeah, they've released 22 free expansions, and they've released 2 of them this year.
As far as I'm concerned, this should be the No Man's Sky Memorial Reward next year.
It really should.
Like, it's just, there's no, you're not beating what they did. So like, I don't know, BG3 maybe, but my other problem with BG3 lately is
my problem with Cyberpunk winning it? If it would have won it, right? Is what they did was what the game should have been in the first place, and it feels like rewarding incompetency.
Okay, I can agree with you on that. My thing is with BG3 is like the one update they put out recently, they were like, yeah, it's so big, just fucking delete the game and reinstall it. And I was like, that's wild. That's a wild thing to ask of us, Larry. And like, come on now. But that's just kind of the nature of the beast with like a lot of early access games. Like, you don't really get a complete package, unfortunately, which is kind of why I was waiting for the Xbox or the PlayStation like physical releases. That way I could be like, all right, when that actually physically releases, that's the complete game up until this point. Like, there's no like ifs, ands, or buts. Like, if I want to play this game in 20 years, like, I know that this game won't be fucking destroyed. So okay, I mean, I can kind of think about it, if we're rewarding them for releasing a shit game. Yeah, that's probably what they did. They're like, we'll get an award in a few years if we do this now.
Exactly. You're right. You're right. And when you look at it, like, No Man's Sky did that same thing, but they fucking put their face to the pavement and just
also
kept working towards what they
a
needed to do to
wholly
make it a better
different
game.
situation, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're talking
when people
about
try to compare the two, I'm like, there is no comparison.
No.
You
You
stop.
have one company who was just being a shithead, and then you had
a small indie team that got in over their head and had Sony push them to put the game out as fast as possible.
And also had like a major issue at their offices with water.
The flooding,
Yeah. So okay. No, I'll let that go. That's fine.
Yeah. So I basically my thoughts are like Baldur's Gate 3 makes the most sense here, and otherwise it should always be No Man's Sky that wins this category. All right. Let's move on from that, though.
Okay.
Do you want to even do anything with mobile game? I think it's just kind of stupid. All right, let's get an indie title. Cocoon won this, and it shouldn't have because Pizza Tower is in this category.
I never even heard of Cocoon, so that was wild.
That's the best debut indie game, but it's not the best indie game. So,
which is a weird kind of thing of itself. How are you gonna have a best indie game? Because best indie game by a new independent studio.
It's a new studio, but I'm pretty sure the people that made Cocoon were like some people that were already in the industry.
Hold on. I also believe. Let me see, Sea of Stars. That studio is. Sabotage.
Look. Yeah. Listen, it's a new studio, right?
No, Sabotage isn't new. Sabotage isn't new.
Well, no. I was gonna say it's a new studio that made Cocoon, but you know who made it?
Huh.
Jeppe Carlson, who created Limbo and Inside.
Oh.
No, that's not a new thing.
That's like awarding Kojima's new studio with best debut studio. It's like,
right?
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, that shit happens all the time, though. Something closes and then
but I feel
it gets absorbed into other things, and they just stick a new name on it, and it's just. Like,
I will say though,
there's
always a non-zero chance that just because you have somebody who has made something good before doesn't mean you'll get something bad. Just
You're
like
correct.
What's his name, the creator of Mega Man. You know what I mean? He made Mega Man, and then he made Money Number 9 with a new studio.
Mm-hmm.
Those two things do not make sense when you look at them side by side.
Yeah, or what was it? That famous John Romero game?
Daikatana.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Romero is going to make you his bitch.
Sometimes they just get these big names to be like, look who's making our game. And then it comes out, and you're like, this game, I popped it in the thing, and it just started pooping. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on.
But out of all of the ones in best debut indie game, it is the only one that has a team of people that aren't debuting in the industry, and I feel like that's very disingenuous that Cocoon won because both Viewfinder, Pizza Tower, Dredge, and Vinba all deserved it more because of the fact that these are solely new people in the gaming industry that worked on these games, and they deserve recognition.
Can we just appreciate real quick that the devs of Pizza Tower, the company is called Tour de Pizza?
Yes. Can we just what was I gonna say? You said something about them. My brain.
I was like, can we just talk about how they're from
PA?
They're not too far from me.
Yeah, can we just talk about how Pizza Tower is a fucking excellent game for a second also? Like, damn, dude.
How far is this from me? I'm gonna drive there right now. That's not far at all.
You should hold up a sign outside their offices. You were robbed.
You were wrong. I'll bring them pizza.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or I play the pizza pasta, put it in a box on. But
yeah. I mean, I would have rather any of these other teams because, like, I showed Mike Viewfinder. You saw Viewfinder. It's the Polaroid camera one I told you about.
Oh yeah.
And that got overshadowed by a guy who made a new studio who's worked on some of the biggest indie titles in existence. Like, what the fuck? This doesn't make sense for best debut.
Maybe before he didn't try very hard, but this time he did.
He made Inside and Limbo.
No. Yeah.
Maybe he was
who says third time's the charm? He could have just really fucked it up.
Yeah, or maybe he was just kind of like the coffee boy or something.
Bro, Dredge, no, he literally designed them, but okay. Dredge and Pizza Tower and Viewfinder and Vinba all deserved it more than Cocoon. Sorry, that's just all there is to it. Anyway, let's go to best indie game. Yes. Yeah, this was Sea of Stars.
Yeah. Have you played it?
I have not.
Okay.
I really want to. I've seen a lot, but I haven't played it. I can tell.
I haven't finished it yet. So my problem is right is because there's been many games in the past that have all been like, we're the second coming of Chrono Trigger, and then I play them, I'm like, no, the fuck you aren't.
Yeah.
I wish I had gone into this game not knowing that, because now I'm going to be plagued by just comparing the two. But from what I've played so far, like, it is quite good. The music's good. The art style I really enjoy as well. So I haven't played any of these other games. I also do know Dave the Diver, for all intents and purposes, not an indie game.
It's not, but it is actually a very good game. I will say that.
Yeah. But
Dredge is really good. It is like a fishing game where you go and you get like fish and stuff to like, survive. But it's also in a world that's been overrun by Cthulhu. So it's super fucking cool.
They're also getting this is what the Game Awards, Dave the Diver and Dredge are having a crossover thing.
Viewfinder is also really cool. It is similar to Portal, but the way you solve the puzzles is by taking pictures of the Polaroid camera and then using perspective to solve the like puzzles and stuff. Super cool game. That one I highly recommend looking into. But yeah, we've talked about that enough. You like Sea of Stars. I haven't got to play it, but you say that it's good so far. Like, you really like it.
So far, yeah. So there is no cinematic moments. So so far it's quite good. I might shift my focus to that, because I feel like I'll be able to get that done before FF16 at this point, and I just want to be able to, because I really want to talk about that game. So I just want to make sure that I get into that. So
okay. So would you like to move on to the next topic then? Okay. Best ongoing game. Do you think this one was deserved? Question mark. Because you were just going back to bat for this team.
So the problem is that this whole category is kind of a clusterfuck, right?
Yes.
Because first of all, I don't think Cyberpunk should be in this this category whatsoever.
For two reasons.
Whatsoever. Mostly because I consider a best ongoing game a live service game, or like a continuously online game. So yes, Fortnite, Genshin, FF14, Apex, Makes sense. All of those.
Yep.
The fact that Cyberpunk is in this one is kind of mind-boggling to me.
Absolutely.
Especially because I feel like there was some other ones that they could have thrown in there.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. There was one that I had in mind, and it left me. It'll come back to me, maybe. But like, I don't know what I would give it to, though, because Apex is not the winner of this award whatsoever. Maybe
really, I would say Fortnite, considering the updates.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it is Fortnite.
I think for me, for this category, it would have been FF14 second, Fortnite first. Even though I hate Fortnite, like, they continuously pump things out that make the game better for its fans, and like, I mean, obviously, like, we can't judge it on, like, for this year on like the Lego stuff and the rock, because it just came out, and if we're gonna snub Mario RPG, we're gonna snub Fortnite for sure.
That's fine.
But at least for the content update that they do, like, they do so many things throughout the year that really kind of shake the game up. Like, I know it was like OG Fortnite came out for a little bit, and like
there was a
month all that shit
where you could play the original Fortnite. Yep.
So like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, that makes more sense to me than Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk is just it should have been like, which game got the most fixed this year, and it's like, all right, well, Cyberpunk for sure.
So I actually have another hot take about Cyberpunk being in this category. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
It isn't an ongoing game. Do you know
not.
Why? They're done. They're done. They said there's no more. We're done. Yeah. That's what they said.
The whole team is now moving over to the next Witcher project, and they're done.
How can you be an ongoing game if you've stopped working on the game? Like, I don't know. That's the thing. It doesn't make any sense to be in this category at all.
No, it's very silly. Very silly. So I don't personally agree with that, but maybe I do feel like maybe a little bit there was some. I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on for a little bit here.
Oh, I have mine on as well, so go for it.
There might have been some colluding, especially considering the publisher of Cyberpunk was WB Studios, and they're in a really, really weird spot right now, especially after all the movie shit that they pulled this year to make money back.
They killed Looney Tunes.
They killed Looney Tunes. They completely wrote off Batgirl. Like there was a lot of things that they did. So like part of me wants to say that like did they like approach Jeff and were like, hey, can you put us in a couple of categories? Because it's an oddly timed thing to be like, hey, we just released this brand new update. Come back and play. We just released Phantom Liberty, which is really good. Like,
and what happened during their acceptance speech? They said, and our patch 2.1 is out now.
Yes, and like I think that week the Ultimate Edition came out that has everything.
Seems kind of fishy.
Yeah,
kind of fishy.
Seems like it's a coincidence.
So, you know, it's weird that in the same week that you release your final patches for the game and the Ultimate Edition that has Phantom Liberty bundled in, that
you win an award.
Hey, guy, yeah, you know,
which also would be a really easy way to slap on the next gen upgrade for whenever PS5 Pro and Xbox Pro whatever comes out. The upgraded version of Cyberpunk for that Game of the Year award winner right there on the box. Look at that. We didn't say which award they won, just that they were an award winner.
Yes.
Guarantee you that shit's gonna happen.
So it's a very weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So I don't know. This whole category is kind of silly, but
oh god, games for impact. That's next.
Yeah, I don't know any of these games except for two of them.
No, Terra Nil is okay, and Tachia.
Oh, whoa!
I don't know how it's pronounced, but whatever. That game's actually pretty good. The winner of this is actually a pretty good game.
My buddy has been playing Chants of Sonar, and that seems like a really fun game. It's like a language translation game, and like the way you further yourself is like translating like different like it's not like known languages. It's like other like types of languages.
I recommend a Space for the Unbound. That game's actually like incredible.
All I know is all the negative shit about Goodbye Volcano.
Oh my god, the cheese pizza shit? Did you see the cheese pizza shit? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
that's
the balls of Jeff
to put that on games for impact.
To even like he ignored other things that came out this year for obvious reasons, and he was like, "What if we just?" Although he did nominate Diablo, and I'm like, "You sure you want to do that?"
Yeah, but Diablo didn't have the artist draw cheese pizza. All right,
you're right.
That's the difference.
You're right, but the developers from ABK were drinking breast milk on the clock. That's okay. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair.
You know, it's kind of weird.
Best performance was Neil Newman from Baldur's Gate 3. This was deserved. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy win. Best audio design. I feel like the game that is entirely designed around audio winning this is totally fair.
Yeah.
I agree, but I also disagree because I think Dead Space Remake had some of the best audio design of anything this year because they really
I think Alan Wake 2 did, but
good job with the environmental sounds and
I think Dead Space is just fucking robbed in this as well.
Yeah,
it's just like it's like here's just a pity nomination in best audio design. Like you could have stuck it in some other places, but y'all.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I love Hi-Fi Rush. I want more Hi-Fi Rush. Give me that shit. Inject it in
more games like Hi-Fi Rush. We don't need the same game again, but more.
But at the same time, like I definitely feel like Dead Space was robbed for sure.
And I would say, you know, in this category, I'm all for giving it. I mean, everything else on here is a remake or remaster. So you know what, give it to new and exciting. But
Alan Wake 2 is not a remake. Neither is Spider-Man 2.
Sorry, or sequel.
Spider-Man 2 also didn't deserve it.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 didn't. You know, the only reason it's on here is because of the Death Girl mini game.
Maybe
I'm not even joking. It's like quite literally the only reason it could be on here.
So Hi-Fi Rush won that one, which is fine. I like Hi-Fi Rush a lot. That was another game that if you did not play it this year, what are you doing?
Yeah, you need to play a Hi-Fi Rush. All right, best score in music, Final Fantasy 16. Easy.
Yep.
Easy win.
Easy. That's easy.
Easy win.
No, yeah. I don't remember any of the music from BG3, to be completely honest. Like it's just very ambient. It's like ambient fantasy music, which is fine. Like it's perfect for that game. Like if you ever played D&D in person, you had your DM was like playing like just fantasy music. Like cool. But like,
Alan Wake
I'm
2 has really
sorry.
good music, like really good music.
They really blew the doors off with that one.
The
So like,
FF16 easily the winner right here.
Yeah, Final Fantasy all these has good music, and I'll say it too. Just Tears of the Kingdom, like we talked about when we were talking about the categories. Look, I don't remember a single song from that game. I don't even think it had music half the time, so I don't know where that one came from.
Yeah,
it's like
best
Metroid Dread getting music.
Yeah. Oh, it had some good music. Metroid Dread did, like the starting theme. That was kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, the one song out of
that
a
was
whole
it,
fucking
though.
game.
Yeah, I love that game. I'm not gonna mince words.
Best art direction. I'm happy with this one. I know you probably are thinking Hi-Fi Rush was robbed. That's probably what you're thinking right now.
For sure.
Dude, there were so many trippy, really cool, surreal moments that like fucked with the art design and everything in Alan Wake 2 that I understand why it won it. But Hi-Fi Rush as an overall package does make more sense to win this category, but I get either one winning it.
So my thing is not only is the art for Hi-Fi Rush good, I think the character designs are good, the level design, like everything about that game in its presentation and the way it looks, I think is just like no notes. Like y'all did great. Like there's no.
I feel like I found one of your top 3 already.
Maybe. We'll see.
Have you found one of mine? That's the question.
Yeah, for sure. I know 2 of yours. I will. Yeah, for sure. I know 2 of yours.
All right, moving on to another win for Alan Sweep 2. Let's fucking go. Best narrative. This deserved it. This narrative spanned 13 years. Go on.
I was gonna say from the games that I have played on this list, yes, Alan Wake. Alan Wake 2 deserved it for sure.
Yeah, this narrative spanned 13 years and 3 video games. No, if we count the arcade games, 6 video games. Okay. So like that's insane that they did. So like for instance, you remember Quantum Break?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's canon in the Alan Wake universe.
That doesn't. Okay.
You remember Control? Yeah, that's canon in the Alan Wake universe. In fact, Alan Wake might entirely exist because of Control. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here narratively, and it really messes with the meta moments of the game as well, because like there's some really cool storytelling bits here that if you know, like if you're like a super fan of Alan Wake or like Remedy in general, the game was like made for you basically. And it feels like the developers here made the game that they wanted to make without having to compromise their vision, and I fucking love that for them. So anyway, best game direction. I was just telling you how this is one of the best game directions. Alan Wake 2 also won this one.
That's fine.
And yeah, totally
reasonable.
Yep. And then overall game of the year was Baldur's Gate 3.
Surprise.
I honestly, it deserved it.
So a lot of my friends are like the crowd of people. I love them. I love them so much. But they all jerked off Tears of the Kingdom.
No.
And I was like, no. I was like, first of all, objectively, Tears of the Kingdom not even the best Zelda game. Not even the best I would say that Breath of the Wild is a better game than Tears of the Kingdom.
That's going a little far.
Debatable.
I feel like the maybe as an overall package, yes, but I feel like Tears of the Kingdom has the better world to play in.
But
yes,
I was like, no, there's no way. I was like, that game came and went. Nobody gives a fuck about it. I was like, BG3 has been talked about all year, and I don't know if it's just because you can fuck bears in it that people didn't stop shutting up about it, but like, just all like, I'm surprised. I don't even think Tears of the Kingdom would have made the top 2. Like, I feel like this was definitely between BG3 and Alan Wake 2.
It was 100%
BG3 just edged it out. Like, there's no way.
Yep.
And as soon as they announced it, I posted a GIF in my Discord chat of the crab rave, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I was like, "Fuck yeah, BG sweep."
This was the Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 awards ceremony. Yeah. That's what this was, like, easily.
Yeah.
And you know what? Both of them, for once, both of the choices that swept the award show deserved it.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, we didn't have, like, last year where The Last of Us 2 was, like, every fucking category, and I'm like, sweet.
The most awards ever given to a game, bro.
Because we only nominated it for everything.
Yeah, exactly. Player's voice was also Baldur's Gate 3. So that should show you just how loved Baldur's Gate 3 is. And I don't think it's just because you can fuck a bear. I think it's the characters are really enjoyable. They're very well written. All the voice actors are incredible. There's a reason why Neil Newbin won Best Performance for God, why can I never remember it? Astarion? I can't remember how it's pronounced. But anyway, he did an incredible job, and so did like all the voice actors in that game. They all have a lot of character to them, and all the NPCs feel really fun to interact with, and they're great. Whereas, Tears of the Kingdom is the next cut and paste Breath of the Wild, and hey, Mario Wonder, that I'm actually hats off to that for getting a Game of the Year nomination. I saw a lot of discourse where people are like, how could Spider-Man 2 not win? I'm like, Spider-Man 2 wasn't even in the running. It was literally the throwaway in this.
That was just placating Sony. That's all.
I was gonna say, if Mike wasn't about to die, I could talk about that game to death because
you can come back and talk about it during the game.
I have feelings about that game, and it makes me sad because of just things. I finished it. But after I finished it, I was like, I am done. So,
yeah. So, there were a lot of people that were like, I can't believe Spider-Man 2 got robbed. I'm like, bro, Spider-Man 2 wasn't even in the top
in the same ballpark.
Yeah, it wasn't not even. I would have given it to Resident Evil 4 remake over Spider-Man 2 at this point in time.
As some don't get it twisted. I enjoyed my time with Spider-Man 2. But as somebody who has played that game too, I got my PlayStation wrap up today. I put 50 hours in that game.
Nice.
As somebody who has put that many hours in that game, it did not deserve to win any of the 7 awards that it was nominated for. I am sorry. I am so sorry. It was a fine game, but not an award-winning game. There's two wholly different things. So, definitely BG3 definitely deserved it. So
it does, yeah. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's our award winners. That's what happened there. That's the game of the year awards. Yeah. And we get to do ours next, and ours are gonna look very different, I think.
Oh no, absolutely, 100%. 100%. I don't even think there's a question.
I do know at least 2 or 3 games on this list will definitely pop up on my list.
I mean, obviously,
it's pretty obvious which ones we're gonna hear. Oh, by the way, we skipped over Pikmin 4 winning, which I'm very happy that Pikmin 4
I was so happy Pikmin 4 were gonna I was like, fuck yeah.
I thought you were gonna say, like, I'm very happy we skipped over it.
No. Pikmin 4 won Best Sim and Strategy Game, and you know what? Good for Pikmin 4.
Fuck yeah.
The game was excellent, 100%. It was definitely the best game in that category. I think I've played almost all of them this year.
Katie's never played Pikmin, and she saw someone playing Pikmin 4, and she's like, "Can we play that?"
Fucking love Pikmin.
That demo's excellent. Go try the demo. It gives you, like the first area to kind of play around with, and then you can roll over your progress in the full game. So, yeah, I'd say definitely do that. Yeah, but it is excellent. It definitely deserved it. And Fire
I also missed
still trash. So
Best Action Game, which Best Action Game was given to Armored Core 6, 100% deserved. And Best Adventure Game was given to Tears of the Kingdom, so it did get a throwaway award. So there you go.
Yeah, and so did Mario Wonder. Got Best Family Game.
Got Best Family Game, and Street Fighter 6 got Best Fighting Game. But like literally, what the fuck else would have gotten it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think those are fine things for those games to win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right. What else?
You gotta go. So I was trying to speed run. So sorry, my dude. I know it's been like a long episode, but like I feel like we have a lot to talk about. I mean, I still didn't even get to go over any of the world premieres. There were some really good ones here. Like we saw Hellblade 2. We saw a year that it's going to release in. I thought Hellblade 2 looked awesome. What?
I'm most excited for Big Walk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Big Walk looked really fun, but also the one thing that I will mention before we go, the best part of the entire Game Awards for me was Sega being like, hey, you remember all the games that we used to make that were fucking badass? Yep. We're making all of them again. They announced,
that was a big announcement.
They announced Golden Axe new game. They announced a new Streets of Rage. They announced a new Shinobi.
Not only they announced them, but gameplay.
They showed gameplay. They announced a new Jet Set Radio, and I nearly started crying. I was so excited.
Don't cry yet. Well, cry once you see how bad it is. That's when you can cry.
No, please don't be bad. And they announced a new Crazy Taxi, and oh my god, I'm so happy.
So we're getting a new Offspring album when that comes out.
Yeah. They actually put on their social media the one clip of the new Crazy Taxi game, and they had it muted, and they said, "What's the first thing you hear when you see this video?" And then everyone in the comments was just writing, yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh man. So that's all that.
That's all.
It
that.
Sure is.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we just rushed through the Game Awards winners a lot like Jeff Keighley did.
I think we spent way more time on them than Jeff Keighley did.
I'm never getting paid to do it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
I think that, we spent a lot. And obviously next week we'll have to go back through and clean up some of those new announcements because there's a lot of stuff to kind of pull through there too.
Yeah, I mean, I skipped over the Monster Hunter thing, and there's so much stuff that was announced.
World of Goo 2,
World
like
of
I said,
Goo
the
2.
second things.
Yeah. The remake of A Brother's Tale of Two Sons.
Yep.
The new Mana game that's coming out.
The new Secret of Mana game. Yeah, dude, there was a lot that we kind of skipped over, but I think we just kind of give that its own episode some other time. Nick probably won't be joining us for that one, so he can let us know his thoughts on that, and we can relay them to people. So, yeah.
Because we did talk a lot about these things, so they definitely got. I think we did some justice for the Game Awards.
We also forgot to mention that E3 is the dead now officially. They came out today and went, "Hey, we're done. Bye."
Yeah, forever done. We fucked this up way too much, so it's never coming back.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like after all of that, that's a lot. That was a huge episode.
We're 2 hours in at least.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a big one. You guys ready to wrap up?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to us. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, website, game-crunch.com. Where can you reach out to us? Email, gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. That's where we are. Brandon.
Hi.
Any final thoughts?
No.
Okay. Nick?
If you haven't already, go see Godzilla -1.
Oh my god, I want to see it so bad.
Just go see it.
Maybe
it's really difficult for me to get out and go see something nowadays. Sadly,
it will be everything's streaming so soon now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know. I'm just gonna have to wait for this one.
A lot of stuff streaming even before it even leaves the theater now.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
So just give it another week. I'm sure it'll be there.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it. My name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online. I'm Clash of Penguin there, or your favorite gaming console. Until next week, game on.
Game on.
Games. Let me know when you guys start doing Game of the Year stuff, and I'll pop back in for that.
Can do.
And
I keep my meaning to start at least the list so we can start getting things together.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that next week.
Oakley dokley. Alrighty. Well, I will talk to you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Miss you, Nick.
Miss you. See ya.
Yeah, miss you too, Nick. I hope things are better for you.
Listen, they can't get any worse.
You gotta only up from here.
Yeah. All right, you guys have a good night.
All right, man. You have a good night as well. Bye.